Yo, what's good, people? We back at it for another week, another episode of What's the Word with LJ Mental Podcast. As always, I'm your host with the most, LJ. Alright, so before I get into my word of the week, this week it relates to one particular thing and what I'm gonna get into as far as what my word of the week is, and I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. But first and foremost, just want to say rest in peace, rest in power to Michael K. Williams, very great black actor who passed away this week. So yeah, first and foremost, I want to say rest in peace to him. He's been in a lot of legendary stuff. He's been in some movies, 12 Years a Slave. He's been in the remake of RoboCop. He was probably most recently in Lovecraft Country. People might not notice if you've seen the movie Bullet back in the day with Tupac and Mickey Rourke were the main stars of the film. He was in that film as well, Brooklyn's Finest. And he's probably most known for The Wire, the dude who everybody was scared of on the streets of Baltimore, and the show The Wire, Omar. That's what I'm most known for. That's probably what a lot of people was one of the hit shows from that time, The Wire. That's probably what he's most known for, is playing Omar on The Wire. But yeah, it's a sad shame. Apparently he passed away allegedly due to drug overdose. I've heard some reports of heroin was involved. We don't know if that's true. That's why I said allegedly, because I don't know for sure if that's true or not. But yeah, that's what is being alleged out there, that he OD'd on heroin. And he's admitted in interviews he's had problems with drugs before. And I be wondering that too, like these actors that take these roles, knowing that they've had issues with drugs or whatever they had in the past, and they take on these roles, and some of them take it to heart because you can only act but so well. Some of these people that win these Academy Awards and Oscars from these crazy roles, like, yeah, it's only so well you can act. So, but on the show The Wire, he wasn't an addict. He was a guy basically robbing the drug dealers, so he wasn't participating, but sure, like, seeing it on the show, and I'm not sure what all he's seen in real life as far as drugs. But, yeah, some people just struggle with it, like, and it's sad, like, you just don't know, like, people say this before, like, as far as when somebody die, like, he didn't commit suicide per se, but it's kind of suicidal, like, we dipping into them drugs constantly, like, especially serious shit like heroin, but, yeah, it's crazy because he was involved in a lot of community stuff, he was, especially with black people, so, in real life, that I know about, he was involved in a lot of, important issues and getting things done. With you, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's sad. I'm not sure if this is how he passed, but similar thing with DMX. They say drugs was involved with that, right? And DMX has admitted for many years that he was into drugs, and it's very unfortunate. And I'm not here to tell you like people what to do, but as far as like but yes, it's real sad, man. As far as like being involved with these drugs, and it's just like now, right? Even with the rappers, right? Like back in the late '80s, early '90s, right? The rappers, they might have been, some of them was drug dealers before they got in the game, and they rap about it on their records. And now, like they say, like, a lot of the generation now, the younger dudes, they the users. because the generation before they sold the drugs to somebody, so some of these younger dudes is crack babies and they end up doing the drugs. So, but it's crazy, man. Um, so, so yeah, once again, rest in peace to Michael K. Williams, most known for Omar. He was a beast on that show too, The Wire. Um, that show, like he had mad people shook. He had, it was crazy because some of the kids, like he was kind of a bad influence on the kids in the streets. And I don't think that's what he was trying to do, because like he lived by, even though he was robbing niggas, like robbing drug dealers, he didn't do that to innocent people. Like I remember there's a scene in the show where the guy he was trying to kill, Stringer, the white dude that was with him at the time, he wasn't involved in the dope game and none of that, and he let him live. He didn't kill innocent bystanders. So that was a code of honor that I guess that he lived by. But yeah, he made sure he wet up a Stringer. But and yeah, there's many instances that he didn't like hurt kids or none of that. And why would you hurt kids for one? I don't understand why anybody would hurt kids, regardless of how crazy ruthless you are. But some people just literally don't care, and on the shows they portray that and in real life. But well, yeah, you could tell he had a code of honor, his character, and he was like a one-man wrecking crew, like tearing up everybody in the streets. And even before his character passed away in the show, um, I remember that he was looking like he didn't care. He was running around by himself. He was limping on one leg, and people were still shook. People were still shook. He was calling dude. I forgot dude name he was looking for. It's been a minute since I seen that show. I remember some of the characters, but I remember he was looking for him. Marlo, yeah, that's his name. He was looking for Marlo in the streets. He was calling him a punk. Like, he was calling him a bitch. Like, yo, tell him to come see me. And like, he never got to see him, which I was disappointed because I wanted to see that showdown. But yeah, it's crazy, and then it's crazy how like he ends up getting killed by a little kid, which is that's crazy. Like the most feared dude in the streets on the show got killed by like a nigga that was probably like 7, 8 years old. That shit was crazy. But yeah, it just goes to show you what goes around, comes around. Cause like even though he lived by that code of streets, like he was, like they showed little kids imitating them, like holding a gun, and it's like I'm Omar. But yeah, that just comes back on him. Ends up being a little kid that's exposed to all that crazy violence. End up coming back on him. It just so happens the little dude was involved with he was down with Marlo. but but yeah, that yeah, just he was, yeah, he's involved in a lot of great stuff. It's just The Wire was probably one of the greatest, definitely one of the greatest shows on HBO history. And his character is one of the best characters on the show. I hated how he went out too. Like, oh, it pissed me off. I'm like, yo, I want to see the showdown with him and Marlo. But yeah, it's he's involved in a lot of legendary stuff. And but yeah, once again, rest in peace, rest in power to that brother. So now, get into my word of the week, right? The word of the week is innovation. The reason why is, you know how, I think I spoke about this on a previous episode, briefly, about like changes around the world as far as, because like the most obvious example of that nowadays is probably Uber and Lyft, because you had the taxi industry dominating for years, still kind of big in probably New York City, even though Uber and Lyft is pretty much everywhere now. And the cab companies were upset obviously because Lyft the Ubers like basically dominate, they really changed the game. You just call a ride from your phone and it make it much easier for people to get around rather than having to call a cab. And sometimes if you gotta make sure a cab driver not trying to jip you. They try to take longer routes to run the meter up if you don't know the city you in or whatever. Whereas like you can see with Uber and Lyft, you can see their destination right on it because they got the routes on their phone or whatever. So, but yeah, Uber and Lyft changed the game as far as people getting around the cities. Just use that as an example to my point I'm trying to get to. Um, with the tech industry, which changed the world. Um, Even in our time period, when you had for like you had the old school residential telephones where it didn't even have a dial, just had the spin uh, on it, and then you had the more advanced phones, and then eventually you got they originally had them really big ass cell phones. Um, yeah, that looked like a brick. Like them old phones look like bricks. Like they was so big. But and then what we are now with the touch screens and the smartphones now, like innovation, like things is meant to change. Like nothing is meant the same. Some people don't like it, but things gotta change to make things easier, make things more efficient. Um, Now you got stuff like Amazon, where they started out with books, and now you basically buy anything from Amazon. To yeah, and the whole entire internet's changed the world. But yeah, I want to talk about this cryptocurrency market right now. Um, Crypto, I'm in it being down right now for one. Uh, I think it went back up today, but I remember I'm invested in both the stock market and the crypto market. And both, they're actually very different. They have some similarities in how things go up and down as far as like um, the market price and everything, but they're very different. Uh, in how they operate, and it seems like cryptocurrency is like a way to combat like how the banks, because it's not regulated by the government, and it's not owned by any banks or banks approved. Banks don't like it, but they basically said fuck the banks. Um, it's another way to really make money for real because uh, nowadays like bank accounts like if you can't even make money off savings or anything like that. Like, and if you're trying to even get a certain amount of money out of your own account, which is your money, they question it. You gotta go through some bullshit to even get the money. If I want like, say for example, you want $20,000 or higher, whatever, withdrawn or whatever, you gotta go through some bullshit to get it. Like it's my money, give me my damn money. Shit. Um, Even with savings account, you can't really even make money off that anymore. So it's really, I mean, if you got a savings account, that's cool. And I get why people have savings accounts in banks. Like, 'cause you never know when you're gonna need it or you're saving up for something. I get why people have savings accounts, but it's really no point really in some situations. To have a set because you don't make any interest. I remember at one point, like some years ago, like I remember talking to one of the people inside the bank. I was opening up a new bank account, and they was like, "Oh yeah, if you start this savings, I think you can get like 0.05% or some shit like that for having your money in there." I'm like, "Really? That's it? Like, you can't do shit like for just keeping your money in there, and that's after like I think 6 months to a year, or some shit like that. You only get that amount, which is kind of crazy." Um, and it's like to the point where I'm like, okay, so if you have money sitting around, why not put it in not the stock market, but cryptocurrency market? And it's gonna get to a point where eventually, like I think crypto is going to be used to purchase, especially Bitcoin. It's going to be used to purchase items like eventually that's going to happen, I think. Um, but yeah, they took a step back this week, starting yesterday. I know this still started to go up because Bitcoin peaked, I think, around 64,000, I think, back in April or May of this year. And then it's been fluctuating up and down, and it just cracked over 50,000 a few days ago. And then yesterday things started to go down a lot. So, and that's due to a couple things. I was reading up on it. So Elon Musk, right? One of the innovators with himself, with his own industry, with Tesla, electric cars. Made me think of like the Jetsons back in the day. They thought years from now everybody was gonna be in flying cars, right? Well, Elon Musk got electric cars, and who knows, maybe we will have flying cars one day. But yeah, he got electric cars where you can literally on the street got charge stations where people can charge their car like it's a phone. That's crazy. But yeah, Elon Musk is one of the first people that was on this crypto currency market. And at one point, I think early this year, he started to say like, okay, yo, we could we're gonna start using Bitcoin to do a transaction with Tesla. So that was one of the reasons why I down, because he stopped that, even though and he gave a statement online saying that even though yes he believes that Bitcoin is the future right now, but he's stopping the transactions because there's a lot of fees going on right now. You got fossil fuels, and the mining is causing some issues right now with so yeah, and I've heard somebody I know talk about this as far as these fees right now. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why it's down. And also, China has ceased actions on transaction and mining with. So yeah, there's been two major things that happen. That's why. So it's can be kind of a little shaky, scary, real quick. But it's only a matter of time for things to bounce back. It's like a cycle. It's economics. I remember taking an economics course back in the day, right? And it's one of the things you talk about, right? It's a cycle. From prosperity to, I don't want to say all the way depression, but recession to all the way back around to prosperity. It just goes around, and this is a perfect example of that. So I think there's gonna be some things gonna be worked out. So yeah, anybody listening, if you in the crypto market, yeah, this is not the time to panic. And what I've heard, this might be the time to buy more if you got it. I'm not saying don't throw your life savings in there. Just money you not using right now. You don't need to get to it at least for the 6 months to a year. Yeah, you want to buy it when it's down. So it's not the time to panic and just oh shit, I need to sell this shit because who knows what's gonna recover. Unfortunately, some things don't recover. That's with stock market too. That's where some of the similarities come in. I'm not an expert enough to tell you the full-on differences and full detail the differences between the two. I'm not saying that, but just giving a little insight of things I've experienced and things I've read, because I've been studying this probably all year as far as this crypto and stock market. So yeah, I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but yeah, it's not the time to panic, because this ain't gonna always be like this. Shit will go back up, but yeah. And even Elon Musk said in his statement, even though we doing this right now, we stopping these transactions right now. In the future, yeah, that's it'll change. So yeah, eventually, I think probably gonna be using cryptocurrency to buy everything. Well, not everything, but yeah, a lot of things. A lot of people still, I think, scared of it right now, especially these banks can't stand it. So yeah, people Certain businesses can't stand to change because it's really coming for them for real. So yeah, it's a whole different ball game now. So yeah, innovation is important. All ideas are not good ideas, and all change is not good change. But change does need to happen. Change definitely needs to happen. It's gonna continue to happen. Always, change is always gonna happen. From whenever, even the Stone Ages, when they first invented the wheel, to cars, to everything, innovation, and you build on that innovation to improve the environment. That's what the whole goal is. So yeah, and it's about exercising patience too. And so yeah, all right. So the last thing I want to talk about before I get up out of here, I want to talk about the NFL. Right, NFL right around the corner. The NFL season is back. The first game is tomorrow. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Dallas Cowboys, who I don't know how the hell they put them in that game. Didn't make the playoffs last year, but I know they put the Super Bowl champ the first game every year. I don't know why the Cowboys in this game, but they are. Uh, I can't wait for ready football to come back. Um, Anybody that knows me knows I've been a diehard Packer fan since I was 7 years old. Um, I grew up a Brett Favre fan, even though nowadays Brett Favre says some really dumb, some really stupid things that I really don't like. Everybody got their own opinion, and you got a right to your own opinion. But he says some really, I don't give a damn if what your political affiliation is. Some shit just wrong. It's like some stuff just don't need to be said. But as a football player, he was my favorite player growing up, and I used to love him, Reggie White, so on. But yeah, and NFL, speaking of innovation, is another example of that. They always changing, they always evolving. Um, the NFL had a bunch of lawsuits with CTE and all these concussions, and a lot of players now complaining about from the past because I think some of them didn't have insurance. I don't know all the details about that, but I remember seeing documentaries and reading stories about that, about the issues with the NFL. And you hear some older players talk, and I never even heard of a concussion before. They probably had concussions and didn't even know they had one. But NFL always changing, right? Some rules changed for the better. I mean, there's only so much safe you can make football, but even it seems like there's always one big change every year, from moving the extra point back, because the extra point, after you score a touchdown, used to be a gimme right at I think the 2 yard line. Now it's a 33-yard field goal. To when you kick off. So if you do a touchback, you get at the 25-yard line instead of the 20. So it's another example. To even now they just added 7 playoff teams on each side, 14 total for each conference. To now they adding a 17-game regular season. So yeah, NFL always changing. I know people credit the NBA for always including like black voices to black culture to the hip hop influence, to giving black people or anybody really, not just black people, a voice to speak on personal or I don't even like to say political issues, but just I think to stand up for what's right. Because it's too much politics out here, which is shit can get annoying. But yeah, NFL has always been innovative, and yeah, it's the first time they're gonna have a 17-game regular season. So, and the Super Bowl is actually gonna be for the first time ever, the second week of February. It's always that first Sunday, but it's this time it's gonna be the second February. So yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, it's gonna be a good season. I think and I already said my and even with the way the game is played now with it seems like everybody wanted that stand up quarterback who didn't move, was always in the pocket. Nowadays it's almost like the standard, he gotta be a dual threat, at least a little bit. nowadays. Like, 'cause look at all the top quarterbacks, they can throw on a run, throw in this outside of the pocket. Where Aaron Rodgers, I think, isn't the first guy to do that. Got to bring up my guy Aaron Rodgers, because I'm a Packer fan. He isn't the very first guy to do that, but I think he's one of the guys that a lot of guys get their game from. Because Russell Wilson to Patrick Mahomes now, who a lot of people say is the best quarterback in the league, get their game from him, I think. But they got their own flavor how they do shit. But yeah, he's one of the first guys I see do that. Because guys like Michael Vick, who was, some people say he was a running back, playing masquerading as a quarterback. But he was still a quarterback, and he had a strong arm, but he was mostly known for running. He had a lot of speed, very athletic. But nowadays, you need guys that can do both. At least some kind of wills. You don't gotta be Michael Vick fast, but at least be able to move in and out the pocket. And yeah, a lot of the top quarterbacks now. But some guys, you still want their standard Peyton Manning, stay in the pocket, Tom Brady type quarterback. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this season. And my Super Bowl prediction, I don't think I've ever done a Super Bowl prediction live or on record or anything. I mean, I've given a Super Bowl prediction in the past to people I know, but yeah, after looking at it, I said Packers versus the Bills. I think the Bills are a Super Bowl team, and this is honestly the first time I truly believe that as an adult. I don't think I've ever even said the Bills. I don't think I've ever said, "Oh yeah, the Bills going to the Super Bowl." And being from Buffalo, New York, I know a lot of Bills fans and Bills Mafia. They say it damn near every year, even if they knew there was no hope of them getting to the Super Bowl. But now they got a real shot, and I think they're going this year. My only concern, because they probably gonna have to see Kansas City again. Um, and when I watched that playoff game last year, it was pretty bad. Like, it was pretty. The Bills get a little momentum going, and Kansas City just snatched it away so quick. Like, they made it look easy. Like, it was crazy how easy they made it look to beat the Bills. Like, so I think the Bills did have a lead at one point, but Kansas City just ended up running away with it. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, it was bad. Like, yeah. I think my only concern with them trying to beat Kansas City is their running game. Now, I haven't paid attention to the Bills draft or any free agency moves they made. I don't know what they did as far as, but I think their major problem that they have. Their running game was pathetic. Like, it was terrible. But yeah, I think on the NFC side, where I say Green Bay, some people probably say, "Oh, yeah, Tampa gonna get there again." But if you really know football and watch the game, like, Green Bay was literally a few plays away from beating Tampa Bay. As far as the playoffs, Green Bay was the closest to beating them in the playoffs. And there was some bad turnovers, some very bad plays by the defense. Tom Brady did throw three second half interceptions in that game, but yeah, I think Green Bay can beat them but yeah, I think we got a few tests during the season to see how good they are, so we're gonna see. But yeah, that's my preseason pick. So if you could clown me all you want, like, oh, I really don't care. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, that's my preseason pick. So Packers versus Bills. And depending on what I see, I might change my mind. Who knows? Or yeah, that's my preseason pick. Packers versus Bills. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Yeah, so the word of the week was innovation. Yeah, gotta be innovative. The world gonna always change no matter what we like it or not. But yeah, just gotta keep going, and hopefully everybody make their small part to make change and do, even if it's the smallest thing to make the world better. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm out.